Moses in the CIA.
I'm Moses, Ken Mosesian, and like my ancestor, I'm all about training individuals, teams, and companies how to lead. Now, I've joined forces with the CIA.
I'm Dan Crum, known as the CIA, and I can help you win your best deal every time through my sales training, the CIA method. Join us as we talk about topics of life and business from two unique perspectives. Hello, Ken. How are you this fantastic morning? What the heck? Morning? I don't think this has ever happened.
It's our first out of 90 plus shows, our first actual morning show. Sun is rising behind me. If you're watching on video, you can see that. If you're not, sun is rising behind me. It's kind of great to start the day with Dan as part of how we go about doing things.
Well, you know what that reminds me of? I've never asked you, Ken, what is your morning routine? What is that all about?
I am so happy to share that. So my morning routine is one particular thing in the winter and another particular thing in the summer. Let me explain. So there are some basic components to it that never change. And the first thing is no electronics when I get up. It's like when I get up, I don't want the first thing that I put into my mind to be the headlines in the news or emails or any of those things. So my very first thing is stay clear of that. Now, during this time of year, it's a little bit colder, even in Phoenix. We have mornings down into the 40s and sometimes 30s and even 20s. It's a little colder. It's certainly a lot darker this time of year. So the very first thing that I do when I get up is feed the dog. Because why? Because the dog literally runs our lives and rules our household. So the dog gets taken care of first. He gets let out in the back to do his business. And the next step is my morning prayer and meditation. And that just kind of varies in terms of what I use. But there's an app called Calm, not an endorsement, but we'd be open to it if Calm people are listening and would like to support the show. There's that, which is a great meditation app, 10 minutes guided meditation. If you're new to meditation, that's perfect. I have some prayers that are very meaningful to me that I like to say every morning. And I have a book that rotates. And I usually read just a passage from it and then journal on what I've read. Right now, the Daily Stoic is what I'm reading, and I journal on that a bit. And finally, the last piece of that prayer meditation segment is some visualization. I'll take 4 or 5 minutes, no more than that, 4 or 5 minutes, and just think about things not as I want them, but things as if they had already occurred. And so in my mind's eye, I'm seeing whatever the goal is. Financial, physical, spiritual, I'm seeing that goal accomplished, and I'll actually just talk it out loud. It's me and the dog at that point, and I'll just talk out what I'm seeing in that visualization, and I'll walk around the house as if. And this is something that I refer to as calling the future into the present. Last component of the routine is coffee with my husband. Again, no devices. This is just music, beautiful music playing on the stereo. We love music from the Baroque era. It's great first thing in the morning. So we have that playing throughout the house, and we'll have a couple of cups of coffee together. And then the final piece of the routine, because I guess I need to put this in, we take the dog for a walk through the neighborhood. So those just happen in different sequences. In the summertime, when a morning low in Phoenix could literally be 92 degrees, like morning low could be 92, I am up at 4:45 and out with the dog because that is going to be the coolest time of day. And so we take the dog first and then come back and the routine goes on. So those are the basic components. And the cool thing about it is that I attend to all the things that are most important to me. I attend to my own well-being first. Put your own mask on first before helping others. We take care of the dog who continually reminds us, no thumbs, I need your help. And I tend to my relationship with my spouse. And then I feel like I've got a foundation on which I can build the rest of my day. That's my routine, Dan. Tell us, what's yours?
Well, it starts with a cool dip into the Arctic Ocean. But some people call that cold exposure, a cold plunge. Then at least one marathon is completed. Then I come home and have just an ounce of food. No more than an ounce, because that would be too much. No, I wish. I used to have a very consistent and very good morning routine, and I am sad to tell you the complete truth. And the complete truth is it has fallen off. And I'm inspired by Ken today to be able to hear what he's doing, which sounds much more consistent than what I'm doing. So what I used to do, I'll tell you what I used to do. What I used to do is I followed a bunch of different people that inspired me to do bits and pieces that I compiled together to create what was, I thought, a very good system. So step one of my morning routine was to use the restroom. I would use the restroom and then come back and I'd put on headphones and I would listen to what I called my morning session. And my morning session was a hypnosis session that I recorded, which includes my own voice saying what most people call affirmations to myself, like saying things that I want to condition my mind with positive thinking, with encouraging thoughts, with ways of being, with belief systems, with rules of life. So I worked hard to really pinpoint and create the things that I wanted to reinforce, to figure out the things that I wanted to overcome and get better at, and then put those all into phrases, statements, recorded those. Once they were recorded, I did in hypnosis, I did an induction, which basically leads me into that brainwave state. And then once I'm in that brainwave state, my voice is saying those things to myself, because what a lot of people don't recognize is that your conscience, that you call your conscience, the part of you that's talking to you or feels guilty, things like that. Or like the metaphor, the angel and devil on your shoulder whispering in your ear, either encouraging or discouraging thoughts. All of that is your voice. It is your subconscious mind speaking back to you. So it's key for me, at least, and I encourage a lot of people I work with to start your day off by hearing your own voice, telling yourself what you want to feel, what you want to experience, what you want to do. So that was always my go-to start. I've definitely fallen off in doing that as consistent as I used to, but I'm making a commitment today. I'm getting right back into that. And I'm updating my morning session to be the most up-to-date version of it, meaning the things that are most important to me right now. Because as time goes on, your focus changes, the things that you value change. What I would do right after completing my morning session was either an app or a journal. I would answer questions. And this comes, I'll give credit where credit's due, from something called the 5-Minute Journal. And the 5-Minute Journal simply has 3 questions in the morning. Some of these are more than one answer. So the first question they'd ask you is, what are you grateful for? And they ask you to come up with 3 things. I would challenge myself every day to come up with 3 unique things, meaning that the go-to for everybody, if they're in a relationship or have children, would be like my spouse, my children, right? Like those would be their 2 right off the bat. And then they might say extended family or something like of that nature. Do that in the beginning. But then I challenge myself to look around the room or just think about my life and come up with things that were simple. Like, I'm grateful for pillows because they're soft on my head, right? I'm grateful for carpet because it's soft on my feet. Seems to be a theme right there. But anyway, I would come up with things that were simple because I wanted to remind myself that this world is full of things that we take for granted, things that we don't appreciate. And so I would look for 3 simple things that I appreciate. And I'd always write because of this, because of that. And I'm thanking God because that is my belief. Then it asks you what will make today great. And so you're setting yourself up to win. Because if you say what would make today great is putting it off on someone else. If they do this, if this happens, it's out of your control, then you're not setting yourself up for a great day. So you want to have something that you can simply do, right? Like, let's say, what will make today great is me going to the gym. What will make today great is me taking my dog on a walk. Whatever that is, you allow yourself to do something. So when you complete that task, which is under your control, you can think back, that was a great day. I made it a great day. And the last one is that little sign that I have right there that says, I am. You can't see it on this video because it's morning time and the bright sunlight is shining off and reflecting off of that if you're looking at video. But it says, I am. And it is an I am statement. It's an identity statement. And it's almost a little mini challenge to yourself for that day to say something like, I am strong. I am confident. I am diligent, whatever. You come up with something. And my challenge is not only in the statement and the identity that I want to live up to, but to come up with something unique and new for that day. And then really reflect on it a little bit to think, how would I have lived that out today? So go to the restroom, put my headphones on, listen to my morning session, do my 5-minute journal or whatever version of it that I'm doing, either on the app or on the actual physical journal. And then I used to, and again, I'm going back to what I used to do because this is better. I would then go to 100 push-ups. So I would go into the restroom and I'd do 100 push-ups on the floor of the restroom. And then I would brush my teeth, wash my face, do all the normal stuff to get ready for the day. And then boom, I'd go off on my day. Actually, I had more. What I also used to do is I used to do apple cider vinegar with some Himalayan sea salt with actually some paprika. I think it's paprika. Let me think what it is. Maybe paprika. It's whatever, like hot chili peppers. It was like add a little spice to kick your metabolism up. And it might even been some lemon. Yeah, some fresh lemon juice. And I mix that all together and just drink that kind of as a Kickstarter for my day. And then that's how I'll stop there. I probably have more things that I've done historically, but that was my good morning routine. But now it's not as cool as jumping in the Arctic and running a marathon. I'm going to get back to what I know works, and I'm going to get back to doing it more consistently. So thank you, Ken, for that inspiration of telling me what you do.
That's my pleasure, Dan. And as an added bonus, I'm going to hold you accountable to restart your morning routine as you've just committed to. So I'll be checking in with you over the next few days to get a timeline and deliverables from you on when it restarts and what it consists of. And then we'll be able to track it together, and that will actually be super fun. I'm really glad you talked about the gratitude beyond. I'm grateful for my spouse, my dog, and whatever. There's something called a rampage of appreciation, and the credit where credit is due is Abraham. And I take this beyond what they recommended, which is just like, for a minute or whatever, just everything around you that you're thankful for. I actually do this from time to time, probably once a week, where during the day, from the moment I wake up, everything that I see, I'm thankful for this. And I also do the because statement. But it is amazing. You step into a shower. How many times have you thought, we have running water? We have clean water to drink out of the tap. We have hot water to bathe with. How many times do we actually stop and appreciate what that means to actually have clean water? You open the refrigerator, there's food in it. Do we really stop and think about it? Do you think about the people that worked in the farms to cultivate vegetables, and the people who package them, and the people who ship them, the truck drivers? It's like literally that whole supply chain that made it possible for me to have whatever, a delicious apple in the refrigerator, to have a head of lettuce in the refrigerator. And I started thinking and giving thanks for everyone involved with everything. The pillow thing. First, our dog Dustin loves pillows. Let's just be clear. You can walk into a room and he will have found all the pillows, grabbed them with his paws and his mouth, made a nest, and then crawled inside of it. So with the pillows too, the people who manufactured it, the people who packaged it, the people who sent it to us, all those folks were integral in me receiving that particular blessing that I'm super grateful for. So I would encourage people to try that. It doesn't have to be an all-day thing. I think it's more fun when it is, if you literally make the entire day about gratitude. The fact that we're sitting here with high-speed internet, we can connect with each other, talk across the country, communicate with the people who listen to us or watch us. It's extraordinary. It just is extraordinary. And we take it for granted. We take it for granted. I won't go into the when I was a kid, because then I sound far too much like my father. But what we have right now is really an amazing opportunity on so many levels to be grateful for things in our lives that make our lives better, more efficient, that enable us to do things that we maybe never could have before. This kind of technology has enabled so many small businesses to get up and off the ground and running so much more quickly. Rampage of appreciation, where literally the driving force of the day is about appreciation. So the last piece to that is the morning routine is great. And I so strongly encourage everyone to just look at what you can do to build the foundation so that everything else that happens that day is built on a foundation of serenity of mind, of gratitude for what you have, anticipation of the things that you would like to bring into your life that day. Absolutely do that. And my own experience, it fades as the day goes on. It just does. And so I have a little reminder at noon when I take my lunch break to revisit that. And at end of day, before I shut down for the day, to revisit it again. Do your morning routine, but also give yourself a couple times midday and end of day to revisit that so you don't lose the enthusiasm that you got in the morning.
What I would like to share that I am good at, Ken, is my evening routine. And I'm happy to hear yours as well. And so my evening routine has one major focus, which is setting myself up to sleep well. And I know how important sleep is. I think most of you listening probably do as well. And so I have pulled in, which is very consistent across all of these experts of sleep, and applied what they've taught on what they continue to reinforce, which is number one, light, right? So I have a completely dark room. So I just make sure that I'm going to have everything. I have auto shades that I can just program at, actually, they already programmed at sunset, they go down, right? So as soon as the sun's setting, boom, all my shades close in my room. I have my lights literally start to dim from whatever level they're at down to about 20% of their normal light amount. And they're also set up for more of like a soft white than like the brighter lights that we can get. Really trying to set myself up to know it's getting into the evening, getting more ready for that. Then the temperature is really important. So whether you're setting your thermostat, I happen to have something that's on my bed. There are different companies. I don't endorse any of them. There's 8 Sleep is one of the big companies recently that's promoting stuff. I had the original Chili Pad, and then they came out with something called Uller. Now they have something called Doc Pro. All of these, it's a new company they formed called Sleep.me, and they have just bed control. So you can control the temperature of your bed, the sheets. It goes under your sheet. It's like a mattress pad. And then you can actually have it adjust during the night, right? You have sleep sensors that can show you like to get more REM sleep. It can even warm awake you. It warm awake to me this morning. So it literally keeps warming up till it gets really hot in anticipation of you getting up for the day. But we're not talking about morning, we're talking about evening. So another part of my evening routine is making sure that my caffeine does not go, for me, I'd say past 1 p.m. because I just want to have plenty of time for my body to have, utilize that. And it's no longer in my system and it wouldn't keep me up at night. I keep a journal next to my bed. I don't follow the same system as I do for the 5-minute journal in the evening, which is a lot of reflection. I just keep it more free flow thoughts where I want to be able to just things that pop in my head that I've been processing probably throughout the day. I write them down. If I ever were to wake up in the middle of the night and have a thought, I just go to my notebook or my journal and write that down. The thing that I make sure of is that I'm not paying attention to any work related or which could be stress related items. So not going to read emails. I'm not going to read text messages. My phone goes automatically on do not disturb. If I am going to watch something, it's going to be fiction. It's going to be set up with a low light. So I'm not getting any of the blue light exposure that you could get. If I read, it's always going to be a fiction book because, again, I want my imagination to go into that frame of mind versus nonfiction, which could get me into problem-solving mode. And then just really, I just want to feel like I'm winding down, like I'm not active. So whatever I've done, I've completed earlier in the day, and I just slowly get into the routine where I'm winding down and getting closer to going to bed. And then just making sure, again, boom, temperature is good to go and light is good to go. I wear an eye mask. I use a mouth guard to make sure I don't grind my teeth. I have all these systems and I follow them. Like my whole thing that I do leading up to it to get ready for bed is been consistent for, gosh, I'd even say 20 plus years and it's just added on. So I'll add on the new thing that I learned or have a different version of it. But my consistency of nighttime has been spot on and I sleep really well. So I encourage all of you, come up with your own routine. But to me, what helps you sleep, the nighttime routine, might be more important than the morning routine.
So mine's pretty simple. It's no electronics 30 minutes before bed. Everything gets powered down. If my husband's still up watching TV, it's great. But I step away from that. We keep the room cool. And in wintertime, use more blankets. It just feels better to us. We sleep better that way in a cool room with blankets on us. And I too keep a journal by my bedside. It takes away the temptation to go grab your phone and note something in there electronically. I don't want any blue light happening. So I keep a journal next to the bed just in case I wake up in the middle of the night with a thought that I really want to capture. But we have no TV in our room. All we have are stereo speakers, and that's it. Those are the only electronics that are in there. If we want to watch TV, we go out to the family room and we watch it there. We don't watch it as something to fall asleep by because it never allows me to come to rest. And that's why 30 minutes before I step away from the TV, step away from the phone. And my most common thing, because I've been studying French, is to pick up a book in French and do some reading before bed. It just completely shifts where my brain's at, takes me to another world, and allows me to drift off to a place I want to go to. And just before I fall asleep, whatever is on my mind that I've been thankful for the day, I say thank you for. And that's how the day comes to an end. And I found for me, the most important thing was no electronics for 30 minutes and just not having that blue light. Morning routine, super important because it's the foundation on which you build your day. Try to refresh it a couple times during the day because it's really easy to lose it, and pay attention to what you do just before you go to sleep. Give your mind an opportunity to come to rest. Cut out the electronics, make sure the light, the temperature are perfectly adjusted, and enjoy a great night of sleep. So when you do get up for your morning routine the next day, you wake up refreshed.
Thank you for listening. To learn more, check out mosesinthecia.com. To learn more about Ken Mosesian, check out mosesian.com. To learn more about Dan Crum, check out dancrum.com.